Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers trying to end this season with a victory and spoil the celebration tonight on New Year's Eve in New Orleans. And what a celebration it would be if Drew Brees and the Saints come marching to town as NFC South champions. Hi again, everybody, alongside the former Pro Bowl linebacker Chris Spielman and Peter Schrager. I'm Tom Brenneman. An early Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Let's start with these Saints. It's been amazing. 3 straight years. They go 7-9. They don't make the playoffs. Now all of a sudden trying to wrap up a division title.
Well, you look at the Saints, it starts with Drew Brees, right? Drew Brees is doing Drew Brees things. But the other thing that's going on, it's been the biggest turnaround has been the improvement of the defense. They were awful last year. This year they've been really good under that guidance of Dennis Allen's done an outstanding job. The other thing, Tom, they've had some key injuries, loss of Kenny Vaccaro and A.J. Klein, but they've been able to have guys step up and play well.
Meanwhile, for the Buccaneers, I mean, they had high hopes this year. They won 9 games a season ago. They've had 2 5-game losing streaks, including one right now. Your thoughts on the way Jameis Winston's coming along?
Well, I love Jameis Winston. I love his passion. But let me tell you this. He will never live to his full potential as a quarterback if he continues to let his emotions make his decisions.
Let's check in downstairs for the first time today with Peter Schrager.
Thank you, Tom. You know, the Saints are looking to clinch the NFC South title. They have to do it without Teron Armstead, their left tackle. Andrews Pete will move to left tackle. That's for the Buccaneers. Here we are, Week 17. Dirk Cutter is safe. It'll be his job in 2018. He was given the seal of approval by ownership, and Jason Light, the GM, a key point here, was the one who delivered the news. Expect both guys to be back. Expect this team to be playing loose. Jameis Winston trying to finish the season with a win.
Alrighty, and the Saints will kick it off. They won the toss to third to get into football the second half. Sean Payton seemingly has been around forever. He's only 53. His 11 years, he's taken them to the playoffs 6 times. But for the first time this year since 2013, and Dirk Cutter, as Peter just mentioned, will return for a 3rd year next year. Jacquizz Rodgers waiting on the kickoff, and here we go. The Saints a win away from being crowned NFC South champions. And out comes famous Jameis out of Florida State in his 3rd year, the first overall pick in 2015. So he's averaging a career best 262 yards per game. But the 2 flaws, he's been sacked a lot, and of course that's not all his fault, but he's also turned the ball over a lot.
Well, that's the thing. He has to understand, and he says he understands, yet we've yet seen it with his actions that, yeah, I got to stop turning the ball over. I got to control my emotions. He knows it. I don't think he can do anything about it now, but that's something that needs to be the focus of this whole organization in the offseason. He has to get right for them to live up to their potential.
He has lost his last 9 starts consecutively and put it in the hands of Bobo Wilson. He had an 18-yard touchdown, the first reception of his career a week ago. Young man out of Florida State. We look at the rest of the starters for the Buccaneers. And, of course, we remember the last time these teams played. Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore got into it, and it cost Evans a 1-game suspension.
And I got to keep on. Today is Chris Godwin, a rookie out of Penn State.
First carry for Peyton Barber. He's been their primary ball handler the last couple of weeks. Defensively for New Orleans, are the injuries going to catch up with this team sooner or later?
That's the question that I have. I mean, you lose A.J. Klein and Kenny Vaccaro. Those are 2 solid players, especially outstanding against the run.
Here we go.
They will give it to Barber again. That's a nice cut back to the inside. He's up close to midfield, and a late penalty flag comes flying from the secondary.
Peyton Barber's a nice story, isn't he? A college free agent out of Auburn.
Nose guard, defense. 5-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
Well, he has a legitimate chance today with just a decent day to wound up being the leading rusher for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team on the season.
And the thing he does really well is he fights for everything he can get, pounding, grinding.
And some elusiveness there. You saw a cut to the right, a cut back to the left, slips inside down to the 42 after the penalty. So a gain of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6 for the Buccaneers on this opening drive of the game. Throws into double coverage there, and that was nearly intercepted by Manti Te'o.
Actually, this is a well-thrown ball. Jameis Winston's going to take a look at Godwin, number 12, right here. He's going to see him break out. Watch Te'o break on the football, but Jameis puts it where his guy can get it, and that's thrown away from the coverage and away from the linebacker. Very accurate with the football when he has time to set his feet and make a strong delivery.
Charles Sims checks into the backfield. The Buccaneers converting better than 40% on third down. And they will convert on third down here as the catch is made by Adam Humphries. And he steps out of bounds at the 35-yard line. That's a nice throw right there by Winston.
Humphries is working on P.J. Williams, number 26, right here in the slot. P.J. Williams is playing the nickel back for the Saints. That's just an outcut. Humphries does a good job of creating separation as he had a nice, clean, easy release off the football. Got P.J. on his inside and worked the option route.
Turn and handed to Barber, who checks back in, and he is met immediately at the line of scrimmage by Cameron Jordan. I know he's one of your favorite players in the league.
He is, and the reason why he doesn't come out, and he plays with great effort. He doesn't get hurt. If he gets dinged, he stays in the ball game. He doesn't go out for 2 plays, let the cameras get on him. He stays in, and he plays with great effort, and it means something to him. That's why I love that guy.
He's off to his 3rd Pro Bowl, 8th play of this drive. And up into the air to go get it is Cameron Brate, the 3rd-year tight end out of Harvard. And that is another Buccaneers first down, and they're still in hurry-up mode.
Makes contested catches. This is what Cameron Brate does. I had Cameron Brate. I'd make a note for each guy. We'll go up and win the 50-50 ball, and we'll take contact and still make a catch.
Back to the ground in Barber. And he's to the 20-yard line. That'll be a gain of 2. Onyemata wraps him up.
Again, this the beautiful pocket for Jameis Winston when he has time to set his feet. And that's a guy that he trusts. You know, you can't emphasize enough the trust that some quarterbacks have with receivers. And you talk about Cameron Brate, he certainly has that with Jameis. As we enter the red zone, Cameron Brate is a big target for this Buccaneer offense.
Here we go! Go, Torch! Go, Torch! Ram! Okay. Here we go!
Winston, and nearly had a second pass on this drive intercepted. It should have been by Ken Crawley. Well, another nice find, a college free agent for these New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, he's really come on and has improved his tackling as the season comes on. This Charles Sims out here is going to run a nice little underneath route, good pocket protection. Jameis steps up, the ball's a little bit late. Crawley might have got away with a little bit of a hold, but it wasn't called, so it's great coverage. And Jameis was a little late and behind with that football.
11th play of this drive, and it's a big 3rd down. Tampa Bay thinking about touchdowns rather than kicking field goals when you're up against threes in this Saints offense. And it is a first down inside the 10-yard line. And that is Mike Evans.
So we understand that the game is about matchups. So Jameis surveys the field. Understands it's not man coverage because Mike Evans has a linebacker on him. And Jameis, again, is just going to put the ball right where his guy can get it away from the coverage, reading Craig Robertson.
Let him go!
12th play of this drive. Barber. Powerful running inside the 5, inside the 4, down to the 3-yard line. 2nd and goal for the Buccaneers. And not much Drew Brees can do standing on that sideline.
No, and you almost get a sense of relief by the Buccaneers that they know the future of their head coach, so it allows them to play a little bit freer. And everybody understands that they'll have one more shot at this thing. You see Dirk Cutter right there, play caller. And it's almost like they're playing relaxed. And I'll tell you, the offensive line so far this first series has come out with a purpose. Pass protection and run blocking.
Express! Let him go!
And across in front of the I formation, Barber looking for a hole and is stood up, but the crowd will push him forward. And he'll be just inside the 1, it appears. 3rd and goal.
Just some talk about yardage saved. I thought he had a little cutback lane right here, as you're going to see Peyton Barber. Right there is, freeze it right there, guys. This is going to be the cutback lane because he has his cut and he stays outside. But we talk about toughness and hidden yardage and fighting for everything. You saw that effort right there out of Peyton Barber.
They bring in an extra tight end. They bring in an extra offensive tackle.
Wester.
14th play of the drive. And it is a touchdown by Peyton Barber. So the Buccaneers, heavy underdogs here today, march straight down the field. 14 plays capped off by the touchdown.
Well, you bring in an extra tight end, as a defender and a linebacker, what you want to do is get everybody going this way, play the odds that they're going to run to the extra tight end. Wester, right here, Wester does a good job of sealing just enough. And Barber always falling forward. Good surge by that Buccaneer offensive line as they run to the extra offensive tackle lined up at tight end Wester. What a drive.
What a drive is right. And Barber carried the ball 8 times on that opening drive. 14 plays, 75 yards. They're still confirming this call to make sure the ball broke the plane before Barber's knee hit the ground, and they do confirm it. Touchdown. Well, that's as good as we've seen Tampa Bay's offense look on a single drive all year long.
Oh, and balance. You hit them with run and pass, they don't know what's coming.
Patrick Murray with the point after. So on a day where the Saints have to win, right from the get-go, trail Winston and the Bucs 7-0. Season could not have started uglier for the New Orleans Saints. 0-2 and gave up over 1,000 yards to 2 opponents in offense. They traded Adrian Peterson to Arizona, but then an 8-game winning streak vaulted the Saints to the top spot in the NFC South. And now do Brees and Peyton have one more Super Bowl run in them. Of course, it would be a lot easier if you're getting at least one game on the home front.
That's what you're playing today. You want to get the victory. You're counting on that man. One of the all-time greats. Probably an MVP candidate this year, Drew Brees.
Which, by the way, he has never won the league's most valuable player award. And this is Kamara, their outstanding rookie. And look out here. Kamara's off to the races. Across the 50, inside the 30, and he will take it to the house. A touchdown, 106 yards for Alvin Kamara.
So much like the running game, you set up double teams. You're going to have a double team right here. And you have a double team right here. When you have those double teams, that creates space and you get guys out of their coverage lanes. You got Patrick Murray has no shot, and Alvin Kamara is putting an exclamation point on his NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, he would be right in that hunt with Kareem Hunt, of course, of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
We're back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. I know very early in the season we did a number of Saints games, Chris, and you were saying from the get-go you thought this was the most impressive rookie player you'd seen in the league.
Well, just the versatility that he brings to an offense, and now we're bringing in a return game off of this, but as a wide receiver, as a running back, he runs routes like a wide receiver. He's such a difficult matchup for linebackers and safeties that he will, once the Buccaneers get on defense, command a vice coverage or double team, which I'll explain when we see it.
Jaquiz Rodgers is wrapped up at the 15-yard line. Good special teams play right there by Hill. That's a young man they've been talking a lot about, their number 3 quarterback, Taysom Hill out of BYU. What a story he's become all of a sudden.
Yeah, I had a chance to do when I was working college games to watch him, number 7 right there. And I tell you, it's pretty darn easy to be able to defeat a block and make a play as a quarterback. He's no longer a quarterback. I mean, he is, but we might see him as we go into the playoffs, a little bit of wide receiver. But he's been a valuable asset, special teams player twice for the Saints. Is the most valuable special teams player this year. He wants to get on the field. I love it. Great job, Taysom.
And yes, you heard Chris right. He is their number 3 quarterback. They hand it to Barber, who had a nice start here today. Is that ball loose on the ground? The Saints say it's a fumble.
Yeah, it was loose. That ball came out.
Walt Anderson is our referee. And apparently the Buccaneers have covered it up.
You see right here, Peyton Barber, once you get into that hole, you want to cover up with 2 hands. Once you take contact, he's got 1 hand on the football. And right there, it is loose. But he's fighting to get it back, that's for sure. Saints don't need any help on offense.
Barber already 9 rushing attempts in this game. They fake attempt, and they're looking down the field to Humphries, and he overthrew him by about 2 steps. He got behind the defender, Von Bell, back there and slightly overthrown.
Boy, I really like the mindset, though, of the Buccaneers to start this game, coming out and attacking, going after the Saints.
Well, look, Winston is coming off his best 2 games of this season. As many of you know, he's battled through an injured shoulder pretty much the entire year, early on anyway. He missed 3 games and then really struggled through 3 others. He had to leave the game at halftime against these New Orleans Saints down in the Big Easy as that shoulder was re-injured. With protection, and now Jameis will run it. And he's across the 35, and that is a Buccaneers first down.
Well, this is great decision making by Jameis Winston. The thing he does well is this pocket will open up for him. He's going to take a throwing lane, turn it into a running lane. But you see him step up into that pocket right there. 2 hands on the football. That's part of the things that he needs to improve on as far as ball security right there. Look at 2 hands are on the ball just in case he gets a shot. Then he makes his choice to run and get out of bounds. And he's a lot better athlete than people give him credit for. He can run the ball.
It's a season best 17-yard run for Jameis Winston. And back to the ground game, and Peyton Barber. Tell you, the guy who's a totally forgotten man around here. 2-time Pro Bowler Doug Martin signed that big deal a couple of years ago after a monster 2015. Had some substance abuse problems, which cost him half a year last year and suspended early this year, and he's pretty much relegated to standing and watching.
One man's loss, another man's opportunity, and Peyton Barber certainly took advantage of his opportunity.
My 51, we're good. Express.
And it looked like a false start on the right guard, Evan Smith.
False start, number 62, offense. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
For more on Doug Martin, here's Peter Schrager.
Yeah, guys, it's been a really disappointing season for Doug Martin. They, on good faith, brought him back after last year's issue and the suspension. Did not play up to snuff. They have paid him all his guaranteed money, and guys, quite frankly, I'd be surprised if he's in a Buccaneers uniform next season.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Peter. You figure this is probably his final game. He had 2 incredible years. His rookie year, then he had a couple of down years in the great 2015. Throw on second down, and a catch made by Godwin. That's a rookie out of Penn State. So a 3rd down upcoming. We'll call it 3rd down and 5.
See, Marshawn Lattimore that time was locked in on Mike Evans. That's when Mike Evans ran at him, which Jameis instigated in the first game. Mike Evans has since apologized, but he's lined up in a slot. So this is an automatic tell for Jameis Winston that they're playing man-to-man coverage when you have that tight of press coverage in the slot.
3rd down, Winston, a bullet to Humphries, and that is a first down. As they'll move the chains once more.
So Tampa Bay right now has a mark, 26 to mark, and what they're saying is he can't cover Adam Humphries. Right there, Adam Humphries came out of his break so fast, P.J. Williams was still going back. So right now they identified him, they put a big red X on him, and whenever it's a money down, that's where they're going. At least that's this early scouting report that I'd be on the headsets with my defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen. They're going after P.J.
Make the pitch, they come back the other way, and it is intercepted. by Marcus Williams, his third interception of the year. There's that turnover bugaboo that continues to haunt Jameis Winston. 16 turnovers for the Tampa Bay quarterback.
When there's no threat in the middle of the field, he does not have to get depth. So he can sit here and read the quarterback's eyes. And Marcus Williams does exactly that, seeing Mike Evans come across the field, has a great break on the ball because there was no threat driving him deep. And he's able to anticipate and read the eyes of Jameis Winston and cut Mike Evans off at the pass for the pick.
And just FYI, so many wondering what's going on perhaps with Carolina and Atlanta. The Falcons at home against the Panthers, an early 7-0 lead. The Saints with a win the NFC South. Or should they lose this game, a Carolina loss would make New Orleans divisional champions. So Drew Brees just keep on keeping on. Came into the league with San Diego, has been a Saint since 2006. And every year he has thrown for at least 4,000 yards. He's the only quarterback in the history of the league to throw for over 5,000 yards 5 times. But they're not throwing it as much as they used to, and that's okay. In fact, career lows right now since becoming a Saint for Brees in yards and in touchdown passes. Although that's his main man, the second-year receiver, the former Ohio State Buckeye, Michael Thomas.
Well, this is a problem for Tampa because Michael Thomas is lined up inside to work on Chris Conte. He's going to double move him, show him the post. Go ahead, Michael. Sold the post. Conte bid on it and made a great adjustment. Michael Thomas did on the football in the air. Michael thought the ball was to the outside. He did a center field turn and made a great catch to keep this drive moving.
Well, you thought he was great as a rookie. He has been simply sensational in his second year. That is his 99th catch of this season. They pitch it to Kamara, shakes one tackle, and back to the line of scrimmage. They got Michael Thomas, we mentioned, out of Ohio State in the second round. How did that many teams pass on this guy?
Well, you even watch him in practice. I mean, everything is important to him. Every route. When he works in practice, he works with purpose. He's not punching the clock. He's always trying to get better and better and better, and no better to get than to pick the mind of Drew Brees. He does that all the time. That's why he's turning into a great one.
Brees to throw it, and this is Camaro at a monster game. The first matchup between these two teams had 152 yards from scrimmage in that 30-10 Saints win back in November. Third down coming up. Now the Saints, as good as their offense has been, they have not been a great third down offensive team.
Well, this is, and especially in this area of the field, this is where they missed Kobe Fleener. Kobe Fleener was a huge red zone target for them. Josh Hill, number 89, is a nice player, but down here, Kobe Fleener presented that big target.
New Orleans 22nd in the league in third down percentage. Great protection, and this will be a conversion easy for Kamara. He's inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line.
So you give up too much space right here. Kamara's going to release. You're going to have man coverage. This is too much space, and you give him too much room to work. See that? He's got a little option route where he can go outside or inside. Once he sees that defensive back, Robert McClain sitting on his outside shoulder, that's an automatic read between Kamara and Brees to break it inside, and it's an easy pitch and catch and a much easier throw when you throw the ball inside.
First and goal from the 7. Saints trying to take their first lead of the game. And it will be Kamara into the end zone. That was a Kamara drive after he returned to kickoff for a touchdown. Kamara, a couple of catches, and now a touchdown run.
You know, when you can run from this far out, you got to give credit to these guys because Kamara, on his way to the end zone, is untouched. I mean, if it's two-hand touch, nothing. If it's flag football, they might have got him there. But what a great job by that offensive line, and Brandon Coleman with a nice block, Willie Snead with a nice block to clear the way for Alvin Kamara with his second score of the day.
And the point after by Will Lutz is good. What a start for this electrifying rookie out of Tennessee. Welcome back to the Sunshine State on this final day of 2017. An early Happy New Year to all. And boy, in so many places across this country, this not being one of them. Temperatures have just been frigid beyond description. You and I live in a couple of those towns.
Yeah. It'd take a tough pill to go outside.
14-7, Saints in front. We'll be checking in with Carissa Thompson a lot today. Hi there, Carissa.
Hi, Tom. I'm going to get you guys an update on Atlanta. You know the case here. A win and they're in. This is a nice start for them. Matt Ryan finds Devontae Freeman for this 19-yard touchdown. They're up right now, 7-0. Tom, Chris, and Peter.
You know, with all the talk about Atlanta getting in, the Saints trying to win the division, the most volatile team today would be the Panthers. Now, they know they're in the playoffs, but they could be anywhere from, when the day started anyway, from a number 2 seed. That was eliminated when Minnesota won its game. Or they could be all the way down to the number 5 seed. Throw down the middle of the field. And the catch, no. Evans simply dropped it, it looked like.
Well, the mindset of Dirk Cutter is to attack, and I love the fact that you're taking shots on first down the field, and Jameis Winston puts this ball right on target to Mike Evans, but Crawley does not quit on it and is able to strip it as he comes to the ground. Crawley's been a nice addition. You mentioned that, Tom. You're exactly right. He's been a good pickup for them and Dennis Allen.
You know, Delvin Breaux was a guy they were counting on as Martin is leveled by Onyemata.
You see big number 93. Onyemata is going to break down inside and beat off and split the double team. How he split the double team, that was great technique. As a young defensive lineman, if you're watching this game out there, when you feel a double team, you turn those shoulders to 90 degrees, you get skinny, you split it, then you close the gate in front of the ball and come with bad tensions. Thank you, Mr. Onyemata.
Third down at 11. Buccaneers 5 of 5 on third down. And Brate slips a tackle and will somersault into first down territory up close to the 37-yard line.
So I always look for little things that can happen, and Cameron Brate is an outlet. Von Bell is in perfect position to come up and make a play. The problem is he's going to go ahead and lower his head and miss the tackle. Then Brate just hurdles over Crawley because he puts his head down and misses the target.
So yeah, Brate's a guy that's been playing with different injuries all year long, a sore hip, a bad knee, but putting together back-to-back excellent years is Cameron Brate.
There's Wester checking in, Tom, extra tight end.
Very short yardage there on the first down carry by Martin.
It's going to be interesting to see as this game moves on when they bring Wester in. You know, we have run so far. So as a defensive guy or defensive coordinator, you're thinking, all right, you know that they have a setup or a play action off that personnel grouping. So that's something that's going through the mind of Dennis Allen right now, telling his players to be aware of when they come off the field and gather around.
Hey, Ram,
I like to work the two-man game with Evans and Sims at the top of the screen.
Winston in trouble, and now he'll run it, and successfully so for a second time. He slid about a yard short of the first down, and that will more than likely be our final play of what has been a very entertaining opening quarter. And for the New Orleans Saints, a win away from putting the NFC South on ice, and at the same time hoping for some other teams around them to fall. And looking ahead to the postseason. 14-7, Fox NFL Sunday continues after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Welcome back to Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Beautiful New Year's Eve, Sunday afternoon, week 17 in the National Football League, and we're set to begin the second quarter. 14-7. New Orleans in front. Doug Martin stuffed again at the line of scrimmage. Teo leads away.
So we know that they're running, our keys are telling us they're running right here to Wester. The problem is Wester gets too high, and watch him get taken back into the lap of Doug Martin. Really nice job of penetration by the Saints defense. That's the thing on short yardage. You want to get penetration, change the line of scrimmage backwards, and you'll get the stop. Great effort by the Saints.
First punt for either team in the game today. And this is Brian Anger, who normally is very good at pinning teams inside their 20. And he'll do that here on the fair catch by Tommy Lee Lewis. 14-7. Division rivals locking up in Tampa.
Don't believe the hype.
The 1967 Lions are the only team to have that season's NFL offensive and defensive rookies of the year. Mel Farr on offense, Lem Barney, the Hall of Famer on defense. Well, that might change this year. The duo of Alvin Kamara and Marshawn Lattimore, both headed to the Pro Bowl as rookies and both having outstanding years.
Marshawn might be going for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He's been mentioned in those conversations. Cover down corner, man. Hard to find.
Mark Ingram, first time to start this drive. He'll get the football, and that's a gain of close to 3. And Kamara off to another monster start.
Man, he almost took a knee. Decided not to, and he's off. You know, I can run it, I can return it. Guess what? I can catch it. He's so versatile. He creates such a matchup problem with defenders. Drew Brees trusts a young rookie, and what a find in the 3rd round for Jeff Ireland, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton. Outstanding draft.
Well, you know, it's an interesting story. A young man who grew up in Norcross, Georgia, and this is Kamara. And his journey just to get here. He initially committed, very highly recruited player out of Georgia, went to Alabama to play for Nick Saban, and then left. Went to Hutchinson Junior College, then transferred to Tennessee. You're talking about a young man who his entire college career only started 8 games. So he becomes a 3rd round pick, great find. And Sean Payton told us early in the year, he said, I think this guy's going to put up numbers that are going to exceed every rookie in this league, and he was right on it. At least in the NFC. Kareem Hunt came in with more yards from scrimmage than Kamara, and this is Mark Ingram. And he's up to the 28-yard line and brings up 2nd down. Peter?
Guys, Alvin Kamara was in the same recruiting class at Alabama as Derrick Henry, T.J. Yeldon, and Kenyon Drake. Imagine those 4 walk in a room. They were all in the same recruiting class. As we know, it didn't work out at Alabama. He lost his scholarship. You guys told the story there, Tom. But here's the deal. He was the 5th running back taken in this draft. But Sean Payton, at his pro day at Tennessee, lit him up, and then when they drafted him, said, I was thrilled to see him sitting there in the 3rd round.
Well, if you want to look for somebody to compare him to in the NFL, the type of position is Christian McCaffrey with the Panthers. The same type of guy, same type of position.
But McCaffrey, of course, came with a lot more hype, and rightfully so, after a brilliant career at Stanford.
And Christian, I think, has delivered everything the Panthers wanted him to deliver. I just think when you look at Alvin Kamara, as far as explosive plays, which the Saints lead the league in explosive plays with 121, defined by passes over 20 yards and runs over 10 yards, and you have number 9 distributing the football to him, it gives you a chance to have a few more explosive plays, and he's taking advantage of that. Big 3rd down.
3rd down and 4 for Brees and the Saints at their own 28-yard line. Looking around, and now down the field, wide open, and he overthrew Ted Ginn Jr. They got together on a 54-yard touchdown. That was a week ago against Atlanta. Yeah. That should have been 6.
Yeah, he doesn't miss this very often. I thought actually Ginn Jr. could have laid out for this, but you're going to see 2 guys right here sitting down on this route. And Ted Ginn with the stutter and go runs right past T.J. Ward. And Drew missed him, but almost if you get one hand on it, sometimes you lay out, you get 2 on it.
Won by Thomas Morstead, and this is Humphreys, a fair catch at the 25. 12:05 to go. This should have been Brees to Ginn for a big one for a 2nd straight week, but not to be.
Hey, Tom, I'm going to give you some inside trader information right here. Watch the eyes. when a running back's eyes comes out, he starts scanning the field. He's scanning because he is in pass protection. Now that's a little different. Now watch the eyes on this next play. He comes out, those eyes are straight ahead. Why? Because he knows where his destination is. He knows where he's going. That's run. As a linebacker, then what you say, if those eyes scan, bird, D-line gets pass rush. If his eyes straight ahead, rabbit. That tells the defensive lineman play run.
Love it. Rabbit meaning a rabbit running on the ground. Birds.
Ball in the air.
Ball in the air.
Just
and
like
it's
this.
in the air on this one. And what a throw. The question is it a catch? And no. And Evans shaken up along the Saints sideline.
Well, this is the matchup that we've been waiting to see. Evans does have a step on a perfect ball by Jameis Winston and just goes through his hands. Looks like he came down on the ball with that left hip. But what a ball by Jameis Winston. He's on target today.
Well, that's a second drop early on in this game for Mike Evans. Big Ten Showdown Thursday on FS1. The Maryland Terrapins go to East Lansing to take on number 2 Michigan State. That game at 7:30. Big Ten basketball all season long on FS1. What about Big Ten football? Undefeated in the bowl season, 7-0 with a game here on Monday involving the final Big Ten team, the Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, they're staying in our hotel, and you know Jim Harbaugh will have them ready to go against Will Muschamp and the Gamecocks of South Carolina.
Swinging out to Barber, and he lunges forward, tries to get a first down. Boy, that's a great effort right there by Barber. He looks like he's about a yard short, maybe a little less.
This is a nice little pick play right here. They have 2 tight ends lined up. Noah Teo's got to get outside. They're going to run out and get in his way. You see that? He's bumped off. That's a natural pick, and you get the ball into your running back in space. That's a great design by Dirk Cutter.
Look who's right back in there.
Yeah, he's no China doll. He's back in there.
They're going to throw it on 3rd and a yard. And Alan Cross a catch. And he's to the 45-yard line. How about that for Mr. Cross? That's only his 5th catch this entire year.
He's been a versatile player for them. Lines up at fullback. He can line up at tight end. Does all the little things. Contributes on special teams. A tough guy. He's got a good story.
Well, you brought up a name earlier about O.J. Howard, their number 1 pick out of Alabama, and he's out injured. So many great players and young players around the league out for the season for a long time. This is Rodgers. And this really used to be Rodgers' game when he first came to the NFL, was as a receiving running back. He rarely ever catches a pass anymore. A good one there, though, down to the 40, and here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, Tennessee needs to win to get into the playoffs, taking on Jacksonville. This will help. Derrick Henry out of the backfield, 66 yards from Marcus Mariota. Now, the extra point was blocked, but they've got the lead in a game they absolutely have to win to make it to the postseason, 6-0. Tom, Chris, and Peter.
Thank you very much, Kurt. That's why, I don't know about you, Chris, I have been so stunned to hear some of the reports that Mike Mularkey, the head coach of the Tennessee Titans, that his job could be in jeopardy. I mean, when's the last time we were talking about Tennessee going into week 17 with a chance to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, you think about it, I think it's all about expectations and standards, and that's how you're measuring your team, where look, we're better than just getting into the playoffs, and if you're not living to that standard according to the decision maker's eyes, then your job will be in jeopardy. If you feel like you have the talent to get to the playoffs and you've underachieved, you got to start achieving, or everybody knows how this business works. Next man up. Goes for coaches too.
Second down, and Winston, great protection. And what a throw that was. And making a catch is a rookie, Godwin, and that is a Buccaneers first down to the Saints' 21-yard line.
But this is what he's capable of doing. I'm talking about Winston. He's going to get a double move on Crawley. Crawley actually has excellent coverage on this play. Here's the double move. He's going to come inside. Crawley does a good job of breaking on the football, but you see how Godson came back a little bit to the ball, and Jameis puts it on the outside where his guy's the only guy that can get it. That's the potential of Jameis Winston. one-handed catch, and if we can keep those emotions in control, he can be as great as he wants to be.
Ready. Blue ready. Boys up.
Pump fake one way, now looking in the end zone for Evans. And he shoved the defender, Lattimore. Of course, he's been whistled for 5 pass interference penalties as an offensive player this year.
Well, right here, Marshawn does a great job of keeping good position, not going for the slant and go. That's what it was set up to be. And Marshawn in good position, forcing the ball to be thrown outside, away from Evans.
Keeps gripping that left hamstring, and you wonder how much more Evans is going to be able to go today.
Ready. Blue ready. Boys up.
They play the drive, they pitch it to Barber, and finds a little running room, and then runs through a tackler, Von Bell, down to the 11-yard line. Peter Schrager.
Yeah, guys, you mentioned it. Mike Evans came off here. It's a left hamstring. It looks like he's grabbing the back of his leg. He's now trying to work it out and see if he can come back in, but that was quick. He pulled up right away, and he was lame.
Trying for back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons, although the receptions are way, way down for Mike Evans this year, and he's clearly frustrated.
I think all these guys, they want to play, and they want to knock the Saints off, and you see the blue tent, the code of silence, or the cone of silence, whatever they're.
Heavy, heavy.
Cone of
Heavy,
privacy.
heavy, 151.
Check them out.
Sunday. Let's go.
Wester, the extra offensive lineman, checks back in on 3rd and 2. Excellent blocking out in front of Barber, and he has a first down to the 7, 1st and goal, Buccaneers.
So the versatility across, right? We saw him as a pass catcher, as the tight end. Now he becomes a lead blocker. When you get that offset running back, a lot of times that's a good key. And watch Cross is going to come out and kick out Robertson, leaving that cutback lane, and we know that Peyton Barber will fight for every blade of grass he can get.
How about the 8-year veteran Joe Hawley, the center pulling, helping to lead the way along with Cross there.
Yeah, he's always had that ability in him. Undersized guy, but will fight you.
Buccaneers needing a touchdown to tie it up. 7:18 to play until halftime. Great protection again for Winston. Now the pocket collapses, and he's dropped pretty much right at the line of scrimmage by Jordan. That will not be a sack. It's actually about a half-yard gain.
So with Evans out, the #1 target in the red zone is Cameron Brate. So the Saints understand this, and you're going to get a double team between these two guys on Brate. And this is where Jameis wants to go, right here. He's using his eyes to move people. You see the double team? And again, I love the decision-making so far that Jameis has made. Tuck the ball, live to fight another down. Don't try to force the ball in there.
Well, you know, the one thing Winston has not done in his career is throw interceptions in the red zone. I mean, for as many turnovers as he has committed, he rarely ever turns it over down near the goal line, and Godwin is just short by maybe a foot.
This is good play design against man coverage, because P.J. Williams had to run over 2 of his own teammates, and it looked like he was short right there.
You know, to finish that thought on Winston real quick.
Yeah.
In his career, he has only thrown 1 interception in the red zone. In his career. And that was his rookie year in 2015 against the Chicago Bears. So, you know, he gets close to scoring, he takes care of it. So now you're 3rd down and a foot and a timeout call. Or are they reviewing the play?
I think Peyton threw the red flag, Tom.
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
So Sean Payton not buying into Godwin hanging onto that ball, and you know the process we hear so much about. And Dean Blandino, we're going to check in with him back in Los Angeles. Dean, as you know, was the head of officials up until this year. Dean, I'm not going to ask you necessarily about this play first and foremost. As you look at it, though, and take a look, is there anything out of the ordinary that you would see that would not call this a catch?
No, I think this is a catch. I think Coach Payton's challenging that he didn't complete the process. He had control, both feet down. He had time to become a runner. And then he lunged for the goal line. The left arm was down. It looked like the ball was short. of the goal line at that point.
All right,
so I don't see
wanna
anything
jump in.
unusual here.
A bigger picture, though, Dean, this has really been in the news again here the last few weeks about is it a catch, is it not a catch? Do you suspect that they're going to be looking at that rule again during this upcoming offseason?
Absolutely. This has been a topic of conversation, not just this season, but this has been going on as long as I've been involved in the NFL, and that's over 23 years. Catch, no catch, there's this subjective element to it, the time element. The competition committee has looked at this at length. I think they'll take a good hard look again.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a catch.
All right, it is a catch. Go ahead, Dean.
New Orleans will be charged with their first timeout of the first half.
Finish that thought really quickly, Dean.
Yeah, I think they're going to look at it again. They're going to study tape like they always do. They're going to get input from coaches, players, obviously the committee, and they may tweak it a little bit. I just don't know if there's a major change that they can make that's going to make this easier to officiate and easier to understand.
Yeah, very well put. Dean Blandino, thank you. All right, it is 3rd down and goal for the Buccaneers, and again out of the I formation. They fake it, and Jameis will run it, and did he break the plane right there? It looked like he did, and he did. It's a touchdown. The signal was already given once he broke the plane with the football.
Again, good decision making right here by Jameis Winston, and we know he's a tough guy, and if he has a chance to get it in there, Craig Robertson comes in and blasts him, driving him back. But there's no quitting Jameis. You see that left hand reach over the goal line. Clearly a touchdown before the ball comes out by Jameis Winston. The only thing I would like to see Craig Robertson do would be wrap his arms and try to strip that ball out of there, because he's a second man in, so Jameis doesn't have the ability to reach it out, and we'll see it cross the plane right there.
So they're still looking at it to make sure, and I would imagine, yep, now they confirm it. It is a touchdown, and now for the point after. This is Patrick Murray, who's missed 4 times as a field goal.
5 minutes, 50 seconds, 5-5-0.
So they've had a 14-play drive, which led to a touchdown, and now a 12-play drive capped off with a touchdown. Very impressive from the Buccaneers offensively today.
You saw Dirk Cutter right there. A big reason why he's being brought back for another year is because his team hasn't quit on him. Playing hard.
And did he miss it? He missed the extra point. Can you believe that? First rushing touchdown of the year for Jameis Winston. From the producers of American Horror Story and The People vs. O.J. Simpson comes a new series on Fox, told through the eyes of first responders. 911. The series premiered this Wednesday night, only on Fox. Mentioned the first rushing touchdown of the year, 12 plays, 75 yards. The first for Winston, that is. But boy, the missed point after, that's the first PAT miss for Patrick Murray this year. Short kickoff, and up to the 30-yard line is Garrett Griffin. What a year for Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, both headed to the Pro Bowl. New Orleans averaging 132 yards per game. That's 5th best in the National Football League. And they're running the ball more than they have since they won the Super Bowl in 09. That's the one thing a lot of people forget about that 09 team. They ran the ball a lot.
So to be effective if you're playing outdoors in the playoffs and you're playing in the cold weather and everything's a little bit slower in the passing game, usually the teams that are outstanding running the football are the teams that have the best chance to advance.
Thomas on the quick slant. That'll be a gain of 9 on first down for Michael Thomas.
Well, that's only the 12th offensive play run this half by the New Orleans Saints.
Now the Buccaneers have run 39.
It's amazing, isn't it? You're on pace for 80 plays. It looks like we're at the University of Tampa game where you're getting 80 plus plays, on pace for 80 plays.
Gives to Zach Line, only his 7th carry of this entire season, and that one will pick up a first down up to the 45. Saints have 2 timeouts. They lost a 1 timeout on the challenge a moment ago. And we're at the 5-minute mark. Atlanta still leading Carolina 7-0. Carolina, though, knocking on the door. They're inside the Atlanta 35-yard line. Breeze comes back the other way to Kamara and tiptoes along the sideline and has another first down to the 45-yard line.
So I mentioned in the open about this being the best screen in the NFL, screen team in the NFL. Any way you can get the ball into Alvin Kamara's hands in space, that's what you try to do. And all of it's based on timing of offensive linemen being able to get out. Watch Max Unger get out right here, number 60. They're going to knock off Quan Alexander, who almost makes a play, but he's on the ground there, just diving on the ground to try to stop him, but he didn't, but he almost made it. But Alvin Kamara shows you what he can do with space.
Ingram, powerful running, and that is good enough for another first down to the 35-yard line. Very close to it anyway. Yep, he got enough. Ingram, 2-time Pro Bowler now, has cracked the 1,000-yard rushing mark for a 2nd straight year. Only the great Deuce McAllister and Ricky Williams have ever done that, wearing a Saints uniform in consecutive years. I mean, 2 years ago, a lot of people thought this guy was going to be a borderline bust.
He had problems holding on to the football, and he's corrected that.
He's just going to throw it away. Let's check in back in Los Angeles with Kurt Menefee.
Well, Seattle can get into the playoffs if Atlanta loses and they beat Arizona, but they're having trouble beating Arizona. That's Elijah Penny, his 2nd touchdown of the season, and look at this. Arizona up by 10 late in the first half at Seattle. Tom, Chris, and Peter.
A lot of people believe it might be the final game as a head coach in the NFL for Bruce Arians.
We'll see. And Bruce refuted those reports, so we don't know, but that's certainly been out there. Our insider would know. Strakes.
Schwegerbomb. It's always fascinating talking to Peter Schrager about all these coaching rumors and things that are going on, might not be going on. 2nd down and just beyond the reach of Thomas. 3rd down coming up. All right, let's start with Bruce Arians. Peter, what do you think?
Well, look, obviously these guys are playing hard for him, and Arians came out and said he hasn't spoken to the front office, and they haven't spoken to him either, but people around the league have hinted that this is Bruce Arians' last game, whether that means he's going to go and coach somewhere else or that he just let it be known that he has not said anything to the front office, they have not said anything to him, but other people around the league have indicated this might be Arians' last game as the Cardinals head coach. He would not be fired. It would be a situation where he himself chooses to walk away.
All right, Peter, while we're on the topic, and at the end of the day, we come to Black Monday, as it's often referred to, tomorrow. How many coaching changes do you think we see in the National Football League at the end of this year?
Look, here's what Jay Glazer was on our pregame show also, and last week he said that could be up to 13 or 14. This week that's been scaled down. Already guys have been given the vote of confidence, though we weren't certain they would. But I would say 6 or 7 is a conservative one. But there are a couple jobs out there. You mentioned Malarkey earlier. If they find a way to lose that game, he could be on the rocks. But a lot of people didn't think Dirk Cutter would survive here. A lot of people didn't think that Hugh Jackson would survive in Cleveland. Both of those guys have gotten the vote of confidence from their ownership groups.
All right, 3rd down and 10 for the Saints. Lutz is hit from 53 this year, so be right around his territory, but he doesn't have to worry about that from that far anyway. Kamara's short of the first down at the 30. So this would be about a 48-yard field goal try coming up for Lutz, who inside of 50 has been really good.
And the reason why they're trying for a field goal is Clinton McDonald made an outstanding play. In order to defend screens well, your defensive tackles have to be a factor. Clinton McDonald saved a big gainer right there. Outstanding effort from him retracing his steps.
48-yard attempt. Snap. And they fake it, and Lutz is on the run, and he is not going to get there. Some play made by Quan Alexander, denying Lutz the first down.
Boy, I'll tell you. Well, Quan Alexander doing his responsibility and running. Actually, they have a running lane, and if Will Lutz had any speed whatsoever, he would be able to get there. But Tony McDaniel, who was just brought onto the roster, is elite blocker. Quan Alexander outruns Tony McDaniel and is able to get a good open field tackle on Will Lutz to prevent it. Will took a shot from Will Clark hustling down the field. Kickers aren't used to that.
Oh, they're not, and that's a way you can go into the playoffs with a guy that you've never seen kick a field goal before.
I don't know if they needed that at that time.
No, that's what I mean.
Absolutely, not at the risk. You're right, because they don't take shots like that.
Ready.
Lutz had a nice year. He's only missed 5 field goals all season long. Winston, now with some time to work with, 2:28 to go, and the Buccaneers have all 3 timeouts remaining.
That's an easy read for Jameis Winston. You see Manti Te'o playing what they call here, which was invented, Tampa 2, and all that is your safeties are playing really wide, and your middle linebacker almost plays a deep middle player where he drops about 20 yards, so the check down is automatically there.
Let me go.
9, Barber looking for first down, running room. He has it, but a penalty flag flies in from the secondary. Stopping the clock right at the 2-minute warning, but we wait on the call.
Holding, number 93, defense. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
All right, so we've reached a 2-minute warning, and the Buccaneers in business. After the penalty, they'll be approaching midfield.
This is a 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning it is. How about that right now? Looking good. What a difference a year makes for Dennis Allen, the Saints defensive coordinator. 375 opponents' yards per game a season ago, 28 points per game. They had only 30 sacks. Look at the turnaround this year.
Yeah, a lot of that's been, to me, the communication in the back end. We did a Saints game earlier in the year. I talked to Dennis about that. That's been better. When you have cover corners like Marshawn Lattimore, Crawley, who's done a nice job coming in and playing man-to-man coverage. When you have the ability to play man on the outside, that allows the versatility of his defense to take hold, because now you can start blitzing a little bit more because you trust your back end.
The question is, though, can they overcome all these injuries they've had? Winston forever to throw, and now lofts it and underthrew his receiver who had his man beat, and Robertson comes up with a pick. Boy, Winston would like to have that one back again, because that had about a 40 or 50-yard gain written all over it, with a little more loft to that pass.
Yeah, that's a bad throw. And again, it's the untimely turnover by Jameis Winston. I mean, you're in scoring situation right here. Robertson is never going to quit on his coverage right here. And this is just, he's got all kind of time. Now, if you're long, you're never wrong. Throw him open. Don't let him stop to come back for the football. Robertson was looking back at the quarterback. Peyton Barber would have pulled away. It was just a poorly thrown ball and an untimely situation. Another turnover when you have a chance to move the ball down and score points. That's Jameis's MO.
It's 2 interceptions thrown in the game today by Winston. And now the Saints, with 2 timeouts left in 1:50 until halftime, get the ball. And a quick drop by Kamara. First mistake he's made all day.
Well, just his route running ability, where you can line him up. You can line him up at receiver. You can put him in the slot. Rarely does he drop, and rarely will Drew Brees throw him a ball to drop, because that was right in the midst.
So be Kamara, and maybe a yard. Brings up 3rd down and 9. Down to 1:35 until halftime.
Tell you, Levante David made that tackle. He's had an outstanding year. He really has. Last year, I thought he struggled a little bit. This year, he's been one of the better players and one of the most underappreciated players as far as that position goes. He's graded really high on my linebacker scale this year. Outstanding player. Tough.
They're down. Brees lofts over the intended target, Josh Hill. So after getting the takeaway, it's 3 and out for Breeze and the Saints.
Oh, nice response by Mike Smith and the Buccaneer defense. Josh Hill's going to run here. Ginn's going to run here. You almost have 2 guys in one spot right here. Not a lot of room for Drew Brees to put it, but good coverage by the Buccaneers to give Jameis another shot with 1:03 to go.
Morstead straight up into the air, and Humphreys a fair catch at the 12. Well, halftime's around the corner. What's coming up, Kurt Menefee in LA?
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, we'll get you all set and up to date on the playoff pictures. 4 teams in the AFC for 2 spots, 2 in the NFC for only 1 spot. It's all coming up on the Visa Halftime. Baby New Year. That's a good look for you.
Happy New Year, Bert.
It's a good look right there.
Yeah.
You'll be donning that later tonight.
Yeah. I haven't seen the New Year's in 20 years, so.
Well, not a better time to start than that.
Well, we'll be in the weight room tonight at 11:35. You and I can start together.
That's after I get out of curves, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's Schrager's spot.
Ready. You ready? Where's that?
So Winston now lofts it down the sideline and incomplete. And Mike Evans is still trying to hang in there. He was in coverage there with Marshawn Lattimore, the rookie out of Ohio State.
You get a scouting report on officials. They're going to let you play. Watch Lattimore right here get hands on him beyond 5 yards and hold him a little bit. So they're letting those guys go at it and fight as long as you know the rules. So Mike Evans now can in turn get a little bit more physical with Marshawn Lattimore in those hand fight battles during the route. Every team has a scouting report on all the officials and what they like and don't like to call.
This is Charles Sims, and he's up to the 19. Looks like after taking that 1 shot, didn't work out. They're just going to let the clock run down, and now a timeout is called by the Saints. Now, most of the big games around the NFL are being played in this late afternoon, early evening time slot, but we know the Vikings have clinched a first-round bye for the first time since 2009. They will go 1-2, Pats, Steelers, for the top 2 seeds over in the AFC. And the Browns join the Lions, an 0-16 season. Peter?
Yeah, guys, and I just got the text from around the league stuff. Chuck Pagano has been relieved of his duties.
Well, they sent him out with a win today over the Texans. At least that's something.
They Chuck
better
Pagano
go down with a loss. Great guy,
there.
yeah.
I mean, you know, when they had their main guy in Andrew Luck, you know, but you lose your franchise quarterback, and Brissett's done some nice things, but when you lose your franchise guy, it's hard. Really hard.
Well, everything usually is ultimately, as Jameis hits Godwin right there on a nice comeback route. Ultimately, you know, for most cases, right, everything as far as coaching and every coach that we talk to, you're judged on wins and losses.
No question.
Except, you know, in Cleveland, that's not the case. For whatever the reason may be, at least right now, Jimmy Haslam promised that Hugh Jackson will be back, and John Dorsey took that job under the premise.
Yep. Hey, congratulations to your brother Rick Spielman. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment as general manager of the Minnesota Vikings. They lost their starting quarterback. They lost their original quarterback 2 years ago. Then they lose the next guy, and now Case Keenum, we know the story. They're champions of the NFC North.
And Case has always been a guy that believes in himself, and he did a really good job. I'll tell you the biggest loss that they suffered this year, and it's mentioned, but not as much as it is about the quarterbacks, was losing Dalvin Cook. Because
No
Dalvin
question.
Cook is a difference maker. Now, Latavius Murray's done a nice job. McKinnon's done a nice job with the 1-2 punch. But Dalvin Cook has that extra little lanyap, is what they like to say in Louisiana. A little extra.
Winston up to the 32-yard line with 33 seconds left and a timeout. Let's check in with Carissa Thompson.
Thank you very much, Tom. So Panthers down 7-0 with under a minute left in the half when Cam Newton finds Devin Funchess for a 4-yard touchdown here. Game tied up at 7-7. Tom?
Yeah, Funchess has come into his own ever since the trade of Kelvin Benjamin. Funchess has become the #1 target for for Cam Newton. Actually was a tight end originally at Michigan, Tom. Then was converted, lost a lot of weight. It looks like to me as a nice receiver for Cam.
And ball to 33 with 33 seconds remaining until halftime. So it'll be a second down and 5 for Winston and the Buccaneers. And down he goes in the arms of Cameron Jordan. He had 2 sacks in the first game against the Buccaneers this year. And that gives him 13 on this season.
Well, he has speed and he has power. Caleb Benenoch right here does not have a chance because watch as an offensive lineman. First he's laid out of his stance. Then he leans forward. Once you lean and your upper body gets forward, you're off balance. And that's dealer's choice for Cam Jordan on what type of move he wants to run.
Saints get the football to begin the second half. And the Saints go to halftime with a 14-13 lead. We take a look and listen at Sounds from the Field from Week 16, brought to you by Walmart.com, now offering free 2-day shipping.
Hey, let's go score. Let's finish. Hey! There's only one thing you can say.
Halftime, 14-13, Saints in front. We go to Kurt Menefee and company in Los Angeles. The Visa halftime begins right now. We talk about an incredible thrill. How about some of these youngsters here at halftime?
Yeah, a lot of good runs and good tackling. Saw a lot of tackles, eyes up, heads up, wrap up. I know these kids are being coached well when you see that. Safety first. Great catch right there. Bring it in.
Very nice. That's the way you used to do it back in Massillon, Ohio, back in the old days.
I didn't catch a lot of balls. I was the lead blocker.
You were also, I think, getting a lot of tackles back in those days, too. All right, here we are with New Orleans. It's incredible. The Saints, in the first half, ran a total of, 22 plays. The Buccaneers ran 47, yet the Saints lead thanks to that kickoff return.
Yeah, I think the Buccaneers have done well, but it's kind of been the story the whole season, right? The turnovers.
Yep.
The turnovers have killed them. You look at Jameson, timely turnovers. Jameson with the 2 picks, especially one in a 2-minute drill right there. That hurt them a little bit, but they played well, and they're competing, and they're playing hard. The Saints got to keep reminding themselves, we need a home field playoff game.
Early on, the opening drive, it was a touchdown by Barber on a 14-play drive. On the ensuing kickoff, Alvin Kamara returned it 106 yards for a touchdown. Kamara added a second score, and then Winston rushed in, but they missed the point after. And right now, that is the difference in this game. A 1-point spread with the Saints in front. By the way, that kickoff return for a touchdown was the first in the career of the rookie Kamara. Let's go downstairs to Peter Schrager.
Guys, I just spoke with both head coaches. Sean Payton said, we didn't really have a lot of offensive plays, so we've got to get it done, and we've got to stop the run. Peyton Barber had a good first half there, but he wants his team to finish the regular season strong and secure that home field. Dirk Cutter had a different take. He said, look, we've got 30 minutes left for the rest of our season, and it's the offseason. You will live and you will die. You will sleep with that the entire way. Try to leave it all out there. Let's give it our best effort. Let's go beat the Saints.
It was a 30-10 loss, these two teams, for the Buccaneers, but that was in the Superdome. Breeze and the Saints will get the football to begin the second half. A year ago, Breeze had his record broken for a single-season completion percentage mark by Sam Bradford, and now Breeze a legitimate chance to get it right back a year later.
Yeah, so far the first half he was 7 of 13 for 86 yards.
This is Kamara up to the 32-yard line. Yeah, those aren't Breeze-like numbers. Not only was he just 7 of 13 for 86 yards, but he missed twice on potential touchdown throws.
Yeah, one to Ted Ginn, which Ted probably could have went out and laid out for the football. Did not try to get it with one hand, knock it down. Another reason they were Off the field, Tampa Bay on third downs for their offense were 10 of 11 for 91% in that first half.
They give it to Ingram to begin the second half, and he hammers his way up to the 39-yard line.
This is what you love about this. You have Alvin Kamara, who obviously is a game breaker and can hit it all sides. Mark Ingram is best when he's running downhill, north and south. He's a one-cut guy. Watch this. One cut, then he sees that hole, then he'll burst through that hole, and he better be the hitter than the hittee, as Gerald McCoy is slow getting up.
McCoy has been battling through a torn bicep. He's played the entire season. He's going to his 6th Pro Bowl. He's pointing back at somebody in that New Orleans huddle. I don't know if he got cut or what may have happened, but he clearly is not very happy with somebody down there.
Let's take a look and see. Gerald McCoy, known for his get off on the football.
Yep.
Cut from the side right there. Big number 71.
It's Ryan Ramczyk rookie out of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Trying to get first down yardage is Ingram, and he's short of a first down. Let's check in Los Angeles with Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Head to Baltimore here. Ravens down 17-3. Joe Flacco finds Chris Moore for this 6-yard touchdown. A win for Baltimore, and they're in. Bengals leading this one 17-10 at half. Tom?
You know, just going back to that Gerald McCoy play real quick. That's what they're trying to eliminate. He was engaged with one guy, and Ramczyk came and got him on the knee. It's tough duty.
They're down at a yard, and well, we'll see. I mean, he extended the ball out over what looked to be enough for a first down.
I think he got it. He's marked beyond the sticks.
Yep.
You see right here, just the extension of the football. How many years has he been doing that, though? That little jump over the pile. There's not many better than getting that extra yardage from Drew Brees on that quick sneak.
So a first down for Brees and the Saints. And now a quick strike and the reception made by Garrett Griffin. That's another injury-plagued position for these New Orleans Saints. Couple of tight ends already down. One for the year in Fleener.
Yeah, Kobe Fleener is a big target. Michael Humanawaniui, Human, as he's referred to by his teammates, is down, and really a good pass catcher for the Saints. But they just keep filling in guys, and they're doing a good job of maintaining what they started.
You see most of those guys on defense, as there's Kamara. Penalty flags litter the field. There's enough for a first down, but we'll see if it stands. Again, the Saints have to win this game. They can take care of the NFC South and be the champions with a victory here today. Now, should they lose, they would need Carolina to lose.
Offense was not set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Carolina and Atlanta are just underway in the second half of a 7-7 game.
I can't emphasize enough. And you've done games in New Orleans. I've been down there. It's a very difficult place to play. And their defense is helped tremendously by the noise. And you especially think of all the injuries that they had on defense. Any help their defense can get. They're playing with backups in a lot of positions.
Well, they're watching a couple of other games, not just the Carolina game. They're also keeping an eye on that Rams game, as the 49ers are just laying it on the Rams, 20-6 so far. Brees throws, and a catch made by Hill. And let's see where they spot it. He's about 2 yards short of a first down after that penalty. But for the Saints to get the number 3 seed, so the 3rd seed, they need the 49ers to win, and the 49ers are winning. The Saints need to win. They need Carolina to win. And at that point, if those things happen, it doesn't matter if Seattle or Arizona wins.
Big third down here. Watch for the little pick rub route with Alvin Kamara getting out.
Brees is sacked from behind, and a penalty flag comes in. Ryan Russell and McCoy both there. And I think this is going to be against New Orleans, so the sack will stand.
Holding, number 67, offense. The penalty is declined, 4th down.
The hold is going to be right here, but watch Kendall Beckwith, number 51. This is how you take Alvin Kamara out of a pass route. There's the hole, but you see Beckwith come and attack. He does not allow Kamara to get his shoulders turned downfield or get any momentum, so he eliminates the double move that Kamara could throw him. Outstanding job by Beckwith, the rookie from LSU.
Again will be Humphries, and he's going to let it bounce. Ooh, that could be a mistake, cost him a few yards. And that's down to the 7-yard line. Well done by Thomas Morstead. America's game of the week. Buccaneers trying to pull the upset at home. Beautiful, beautiful New Year's Eve nighttime upon us. This final night of 2017. We certainly wish you and yours all the many blessings in 2018. 14-13 game. Buccaneers get the ball for the first time here in the second half. And maybe a yard for Peyton Barber. Once more wrapped up by Cameron Jordan.
Well, I'll tell you, he's such a good football player off the edge. He provides great speed and get off, and just effective run defender as he is a pass rusher. And he's working on Benenoch right now, and his get off is so good, meaning how fast he gets off the football. Just a quick swim inside. You open the gate. Man, he's just a beast. Love the guy. He doesn't take off, doesn't lay on the field. Plays. Love the guy.
Jameis down the middle of the field, and that's Godwin up to the 30-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Buccaneers.
So when you got a problem handling Cameron Jordan, you're going to double him. Then you can go to work downfield, allowing this route to develop with Godwin, who's coming on as a receiver, the rookie out of Penn State. And just watching this kid in practice, Tom, works his rear end off, runs great routes, takes a lot of pride, and plays every play like it's his last play, not only for games, but in practice. He's going to be a good player. Good pickup by Jason Light.
Put it in the hands of Humphries, and he is cut down, but a nice gain up to the 38-yard line. That'll be an 8-yard pickup.
A really nice job by Mike Evans, blocking on Marshawn Lattimore to allow Humphries to get that edge and get 8 yards. And that's a battle. You think about it, receivers and corners, they battle not only in coverage, but also in blocking. Watch this block right here by Mike Evans. This allows this play to develop right here, and he's got Marshawn Lattimore and does an outstanding job of using his body to screen him away from getting in on the tackle.
Well, they look like they have a screen set up, and now it blows up, and Winston will wisely just throw it into the ground.
So what do we talk about? How the best way to defend screens if you have interior defensive tackles being able to get a read on the screen. If you have that, you cannot run a screen because these guys get into the throwing lane. Watch our interior right here. They're going to defend the screen nicely right here as Peyton Barber's going to try to sneak out. Onyemata does a good job. Rankins does a good job. Everybody's there. We got him covered, grabbing, holding on, doing his job. That's Manti Te'o. Outstanding effort. Good discipline by the Saints.
Wide open is Humphries. And he's inside the 30 and all the way to the 24-yard line before being shoved out of bounds at the 19. How does he get that wide open?
Well, we're going to show you because there's a miscommunication. Out here, we're going to have 2 guys cover 1 guy. Marshawn Lattimore screaming. You see we have 2 guys covering 1 guy and leaving Humphries all alone. And Williams does a good job of giving him enough cushion to make sure you tackle him. But that's a miscommunication and a mental breakdown by Dennis Allen's defense.
43-yard gain. They fake the pitch. They come back the other way. Jameis throws incomplete. And he got chased by Cameron Jordan once more.
Caleb Benenoch down. Offensive tackle for the Bucs, number 77.
Benenoch is starting his 5th consecutive game for the injured DeMar Dotson at right tackle. Well, you don't like seeing that when they just make a step. Tell you what, you better get on board. When you combine the most provocative man in sports and the most interesting man in sports, you get opinions that cut through the hype. Speak for yourself. Jason Whitlock, Colin Cowherd, weekdays at 5 on FS1.
You have Wester replacing Beninock, and he will be lined up over Cam Jordan. That's tough duty coming off the bench. They got Leclerc over there to help you, number 82, right here.
Second down and 10. And getting up and falling down and then trying to make something out of nothing is Bobo Wilson. Boy, you just wonder. You're marching down the field almost at will when you don't turn it over. And you start into some of the razzle-dazzle stuff.
Yeah, Bobo Wilson, they worked on this in practice. They tried to get him the ball on jet sweeps. And, you know, Bobo's Jameis's teammate from Florida State, caught a touchdown pass, his first of the career last week. But he's another young player that Dirk Cutter is trying to develop.
Loss of 4, now third down and 14, and Winston in trouble, avoids one sack, now just throws it up to the end zone, and that is his second career interception in the red zone. He'd not thrown one since December of his rookie year, and he threw that into quadruple coverage. That wasn't double or triple coverage. The other team's wearing white.
Until these decisions get better by number 3, until he stops turning the ball over, Tampa Bay is destined for mediocrity. That's just the way it is. Because he's going to tell everybody after the game that I got to get better. I got to get better. I heard that after the first year. Heard that after the second year. When I hear it after this, you got to get better. He's got to make a decision. He's too talented to keep making the same mistake year after year, over and over. If he does not change, then you're looking at 8-8. That's what you're looking at. You can't turn it over. In the red zone, you're giving away 3 points.
Yeah, it's his third interception
to take the lead
in the game today. And we brought up earlier, he came in having turned the ball over 15 times this season, so now make it 18 times. Obviously, that's more than 1 per game. A lot more. Let's go to Carissa Thompson in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Tom. Get you an update here on the Seahawks. So Seattle needs an Atlanta loss and a win to extend their season down 20-7. Russell Wilson finds Doug Baldwin for this 18-yard touchdown. Cardinals still with the lead, 2014. Tom?
Well, Seattle needs help. They need to win that game, and they need Atlanta to lose its game. Rams already crowned the NFC West champions, and the Falcons are tied with Carolina still at 7. Apparently a scoring play in that game has been overturned, because a moment ago we saw the score and Atlanta had taken a 14-7 lead. Instead, it's a third down and 10 for Atlanta at the Carolina 12-yard line.
Big third down here. Bucks can help and get a stop and give your defense a little bit better field position as they go empty set. Bringing Kamara in here. They like to work a 2-man game.
There's that 2-man game you were talking about, and there is a completion up to the 34-yard line to Michael Thomas and a first down for the Saints.
Michael Thomas is so strong, he's going to be working on Ryan Smith, number 29. This is all the trips up top, the 3 wide receivers up top. That's all window dressing. See, pay no attention to these guys. They're just window dressing. It's all a 2-man game. Thomas is going to come here, get a nice little physical route. He's too strong. Ryan Smith has no shot at him. Easy pitch and catch for Breeze.
It's interesting for Thomas. That's now 3 receptions. He has caught at least 3 passes in every NFL game he has ever played in. And that ties Anquan Boldin for the most games of 3 or more receptions to begin a career, going back to any player since 1950.
Solid. But the thing about it, too, a worker. I mean, he was like this in college. I watched him practice in college. Every route means something. There's no half rear ending it, ever. And I watched him down there when I was at practice with the Saints. The same type of work ethic, and he picks the brain of Drew Brees constantly.
Second down, and Brees steps up And is looking for Kamara, and what a throw and what a catch by Kamara. Down to the 25-yard line, he beat Lavonte David. What a throw.
Yeah, it's a beautiful throw, and it's a wheel route because he knows he's got to match up with Lavonte David on the wheel route. Lavonte David does a great job of coverage, actually. Does not get his head around and strikes at the ball really quick. And Kamara, great late hands. That means put your ball up late and is able to seal that catch with one hand to bring it in. Can't fault Lavonte David. It's about as good as it gets.
Yep. What a catch by Kamara. Kamara, 5 receptions, 68 yards, is returned to kickoff for a touchdown. And dropped for a 1-yard loss is Ingram. That was David getting back behind the line of scrimmage to cut him down.
It's 810 yards on a year for Kamara. Reception yards.
And the first running back teammates in NFL history officially now to have 1,500 or more yards from scrimmage in the same year. Ingram has gone over, so too has Kamara.
So yeah, coming into the game, that's 80 catches, as you said, on a year. One thing people don't realize, and I was actually surprised about this, even though I've done the Saints 3 times before, as Clemente is being helped up, how good of a receiver Mark Ingram is. Very reliable out of the backfield. You look at his numbers, you know, a lot of screens to Mark, but coming into the game, he's had 54 receptions.
Josh Laribas will come into the game to replace Clemente. Right now, Brees sits atop that single-season completion percentage mark, but we have a long way to go in this one. Saints today were already without Teron Armstead, their left tackle. And so Andrus Peat went to left tackle, allowing Clemente to start at left guard. So now it's Laribas at left guard. And Brees to throw it on second down is screened and blown up by Lavonte David.
It's a beautiful job of Lavonte David. They're going to use Kamara as a decoy, and they're trying to sneak Ingram. Kamara's going to run out here and try to clear linebackers. Ingram's going to come across on a little bit of a screen, but look at Lavonte David, sees it right off the get-go, beats the blocker inside. Larry Warford does an outstanding job. He's really had a tremendous year. Great player for the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense. Lavonte David out of Nebraska.
93 tackles for a loss in his 91 career games. Only Von Miller is in his zip code. Of course, nobody's in the same world with J.J. Watt. They put it in the hands again, and it's blown dead before it ever starts.
False start, number 16, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's Brandon Coleman. I mean, he has seen his playing time shrivel down to next to nothing. And when you're trying to get on the field a little more frequently, you can't have mistakes like that. In fairness to the Saints, it's hard to believe, with all the offensive plays they have run this year, that is only the 6th false start penalty they have had, the fewest number in the NFL. And for comparison's sake, the league average is right around 14.
Discipline.
Third and forever. And Brees hunting around. And it's caught by Ingram at the 30. So this would be another pretty lengthy field goal try for Lutz. They faked the field goal attempt, you may remember, in the first half. When you were watching him in pregame, he was bombing way down this end of the field.
He was in the middle of the net from 59 yards. So he's got plenty of leg, obviously, for here. This is a short one for him at 48.
3 of his 5 misses this year have been wide right. And this one right down the middle, beautifully done by Lutz. So that makes it a 4-point lead. Long way to go. At the flyover just before game time on this crystal clear late afternoon, early evening in Tampa, Florida, and a special celebration Our referee, Walt Anderson, his son, Major David Anderson, his 16th year in the United States Air Force, and came to join Dad on the field. And I bet that was Walt's granddaughter coming out there.
Yeah. Well, he's a big leaguer. All those guys flying those fighters, they're big leaguers. No China dolls in that group, I'll tell you that, Tom.
Here comes Rogers. And still, no, it'll be Sims, I beg your pardon, up to close to the 30-yard line. All right, well, you know, look, the Saints, as we mentioned earlier, they could be the number 2 seed. They could be the 3, they could be the 4, they could be the 3, 4, 5, pardon me. So these are possible matchups in that opening round because we know the top 2 are Philadelphia and Minnesota. You want the game at home. You want the game at home.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. Especially, it's such an advantage for the Saints to play in New Orleans. I mean, the fans down there are passionate. They believe in this team. It's so loud down there. It gives their defense an advantage.
And look, let's be honest about it as well. It's not to, you know, it's not to say that Drew Brees can't win a game outside because he's done it before. The guy's won a Super Bowl. But, you know, their style of play, even though they run it very, very well with a screen game and they like going down the field and all those kinds of things, I think they'd be the first to tell you. They're never going to admit it publicly because you don't want the other team to get in your head.
Yeah, and plus their defense is better. So they're built for a slugfest. Where before in 2009 when they wanted to get a great defense, but recently they've had to win shootouts.
Winston runs out of trouble and just nobody to throw it to. I mean, everybody's on the other side of the field. He's got receivers, and once he started rolling right, did not come to help him there.
Yeah, Claire, number 82, is a tight end. He's trying to match up with him. Okay, that's a mismatch. So this is a guy that's going to disrupt everything. Cameron Jordan with a quick swim, forcing Winston out of the pocket as Von Bell had a shot at a sack, but forcing Jameis to throw it away. But Cameron Jordan is taking over this football game because of the injuries to Benenoch. Now you have Western there. They try to put him with a tight end. That's not a good idea. So what you do now to slow him down, you got to chip him with a running back to give your guys some help. Chip him right here.
They're 11 of 13 on 3rd down in the game, and they've converted again. That's a great route, a nice throw. Freddie Martino back alive and well for the Buccaneers. Has spent most of the year on the practice squad, or half of it anyway.
That's a good read by Jameis right here. They're playing nice zone coverage, so they're going to give up the sticks right here. And you're going to read P.J. Williams, who gets caught looking inside and turned around, so he could not get underneath that route. And Charles Sims did a great job of helping Western on Cam Jordan.
Wide receiver screen to Humphries. And again, he got some good blocking there by Mike Evans. And that'll be a gain of close to 8. Let's check in with Peter Schrager.
Guys, we were talking earlier about Jameis Winston and some of the maturity issues. Look, I talked to some Bucs officials. They say he's still only 23 years old. Dirk Cutter's his guy. In the last 4 games, no quarterback has better stats. That said, another year, no playoffs, and this could be his 9th straight game with a loss if they lose today.
Let's go.
They hand it off to Barber. He cuts it to the outside, and penalty flags are everywhere. All that running around and only a pickup. It looked like, well, it was enough for a first down, but will it stand? More than likely not.
Just to go back to Jameis, look, I think he is so talented and gifted. Really, a guy.
Number 68, offense, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
That can actually be, in my opinion, the top 3 or 4 guy in this league. He's that good. But until he stops making and turning the ball over and making emotional decisions on and off the field. I'm talking about when he was off the field in New Orleans the first time. He provoked that fight between Evans and Lattimore. Until he gets everything together and understanding the importance of ball security and not turning it over, he will never live to his full potential. And if he doesn't live to his full potential, the Bucs can't live to their full potential because he's the quarterback.
2nd down. Good protection this time. And he lays it off for Rogers, who's up to the 42-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 9, and that might be the final play. They don't have to run another one here in the 3rd quarter. And, you know, when you're around Winston, he's the kind of guy that you can see how his teammates would want to rally around him. Well, he is a very charismatic young man.
But he has such passion for the game.
Yes, he does.
And there's not a lot of quarterbacks in this game that work harder than Jameis Winston. Regardless, this is a results-oriented business, especially at that position. It's results-oriented.
Or one of our favorite lines, I am not a slave to results.
Some pitchers are, I know that.
Been a good game, and we've seen this a lot in the NFC South. These games tend to be very close. That was not the norm the last time these two teams got together. Winston only played the first half of that game. It's a 3rd down and 8 for the Buccaneers, and Winston is sacked by Von Bell on the safety blitz, and they're calling it a sack.
Well, Von Bell didn't miss this time. Watch this. This is a good job of disguising late and timing it, and he has a free run to Jameis Winston. Gets him down. Jameis is so hard to get down because he's strong. He reminds a lot of people, even when he's come out of Florida State, the comparisons to Ben Roethlisberger. As far as strength in the pocket, that's certainly accurate.
Now Anger on to punt. It's a 17-13 lead. That one nearly blocked. They remember they blocked the punt for a touchdown the last time these teams met. And great special teams coverage, and the ball is loose. And it is a touchdown for the Buccaneers. Isaiah Johnson scored the touchdown. And it looked like Josh Robinson was the one who made the tackle and stripped it out of there. Let's see if Sean Payton is going to challenge his call. He is some kind of upset right now with Tommy Lee Lewis.
It's a nice, what a job by Josh Robinson, who's known for his special teams. Came over from Minnesota, had 2 hands on the ball. Then he strips it out of there, and that's a clear fumble right there. And I love the athletic ability not to fall on it, but to scoop and score. The Buccaneers create something, make something happen, turn this game around. I want the Saints to try to earn that NFC South title. Josh Robinson, big play.
Isaiah Johnson, his alma mater, will play here tomorrow. South Carolina first-year player, scores a touchdown. And Dean Blandino, does that look like a strip and a fumble to you?
It's really close. It looked like the left arm might have been down, but that ball was moving. I think it is a fumble.
Yeah, but he's confirmed as soon as you just said that, Dean Blandino, so thank you. So the touchdown stands, and don't look now. The Buccaneers trying to ruin a New Year's Eve celebration in the Big Easy.
It's a great job by Josh Robinson securing the tackle first, then going for the strip, getting it on the point, ripping it out of there. And you love the fact that you scoop and score as opposed to just falling in. Sean Payton, one thing he does not have tolerance for is turnovers, especially in your own territory.
Tommy Lee Lewis back there, he was giving it to. And that was just the easy part. When Lewis came off the field, Payton really let him have it. And up to the 27, but there is a penalty flag down.
During the return, holding number 37 receiving team half the distance to the goal from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, you take a look, you go back to 1990, teams to start the year at 0-2. And 28 of them, you know, you're talking about a 12% chance of making the playoffs. They've made that. Won their division under 6%. They're trying to do that. Win a Super Bowl, only 3 have ever done it.
And you look at it, their offense really didn't get on track until the trade was made when Adrian Peterson left the Saints, went over to Arizona, and then they were able to unleash and get more touches to Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. And the defense really picked it up.
All right, well, here we go. Now, all of a sudden, the Saints starting all the way back to their 5-yard line. How about that to get you out of trouble? Kamara all the way up. close to the 30-yard line. Gain of 19.
Yeah, nice job right here of Kelemete getting up to the second level. Watch this, coming off the scoop, getting on Lavonte David. Unger taking care of Quan Alexander, leaving that open hole for Kamara to burst through and get a big gain.
Well, there's an injured player on the far sideline. Looks like it's Ryan Smith. And while they tend to him, we'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Ryan Smith was able to pop right up and ran off to the sideline.
A lot of Bucks are going down on the field today, but getting up there and going over the sidelines, getting a breather and running back in. I think no serious injuries.
13:35 to go. After the big run by Kamara, they're looking for a big pass play, and that's a dangerous play. Great coverage on Ted Ginn Jr. by the veteran Brent Grimes, 4-time Pro Bowler. Played with an injured shoulder all year long.
34 years old. Free agent coming up. They have to make a decision on you want to bring your best cover guy back, and you can't find good cover guys. Outstanding effort, laying out and knocking it away from Ted Ginn Jr. But nickname Bounce because he could jump so high.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a phenomenal athlete. So's Robert McClain on the other side. Another guy, I mean, just extraordinary athlete. They give it to Ingram. And he is spun down to the 30. Willie Clark in there on the stop along with Lavonte David.
Big third down here. Let's see if the Buccaneers can get any type of pressure. They're last in the league in sacks. They can get a four-man pressure that can certainly help. And your combination coverage is in the back end, meaning linebackers and safeties can help out on some of the better wide receivers, especially the main guys, Kamara and Michael Thomas.
Kamara and Ingram both are in the game. This is where you talk about the trips to one side. That's Ingram standing alongside Breeze. And an easy first down for Ingram. Still on his feet. How about that power running and effort by Mark Ingram?
Well, that's who he is. Drew Brees does a good job of reading the corner and throwing the corner. It's a zone defense. Everybody's getting depth, so get the ball into the hands of Mark Ingram. He will fight and claw and scratch, and look at the ball security. He has that ball tight against his shoulder, getting every single yard that he can get. That's why Mark Ingram is so valuable to this football team. Good read by Drew Brees. Get the ball in the hands of your athletes and let them do work in space.
Well, he just ripped right through that would-be tackle from Quan Alexander.
Well, that's actually Lavonte.
Yeah, he's the one that's down.
Lavante's coming up to make a shot. Let's see what Mark Ingram does. What a jump cut by Mark Ingram. Here comes Quan Alexander. A little dangerous position of the head there. Did you see Quan's head go down? Boy, you just want to tell those guys, after what we saw, of course, with Ryan Shazier, the number one thing I can tell anybody, even pros or amateurs, eyes up, head up, wrap up. Hit with your eyes. If you hit with your eyes, you're always hitting like that. Put your head down. That's problem. When you hit with your eyes, you hit with your eyes. Is that the first headbutt you ever had on there?
No, I've never had one, but I mean, not from a guy that outweighs me by about 200. They're going to hand it to Ingram. And maybe a 1-yard gain. It was good to see that David didn't get up and walk off the field. Fourth quarter is money time for Ingram. He has the 6th most fourth quarter rushing yards of any back in the NFL. Well, he's a load now, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Runs with great leverage. Low man wins. Delivers the blow.
Quick out. Ginn up to the 48. Almost to 49. So another third down. Third down and 3.
Third and 3 right here. You look for the Buccaneers to play man-to-man coverage. Every time they played zone in the medium range type passes on third down, the Saints have been able to capitalize. You might want to lock up and challenge him one-on-one. If you do that, it'd be advisable to bring pressure with that on Drew Brees. You play man, bring some pressure with it. Bring more than 4.
Well, the pass rush has been virtually non-existent all year for Tampa Bay. They have 20 total sacks, and they run it on 3rd down and 3, and Ingram picks it up.
Talk about low man wins and leverage. He was stopped about a yard short of that first down, but because of his leverage and the strength of his legs, he's able to drive forward for the first down.
I think he ran right through McCoy here.
Yeah, this is a good call right here by Sean Payton, one you don't expect, and because of his strength of his legs, he's able to get that extra yard needed to keep the chains moving.
McDonald in there as well, and they hand it off on 1st down to Kamara, and a short gain. So here we are, closing under 10:30 to play now. The Saints need to win this game to guarantee being crowned NFC South champions. They could also get in should they lose if Atlanta wins over Carolina. And right now, with a full quarter to play in Atlanta, Falcons lead the Panthers 16-7. Tennessee winning 15-3. Titans need to win to get in. Here comes a blitz. Brees gets it away, and Michael Thomas down to the 25-yard line.
Drew Brees just is able to buy time and trusting that Michael Thomas eventually is going to be able to come across the field from the slot position. And you right now you have McClain trailing. Drew Brees does a great job of anticipating. I don't know how he knows where to throw the football. How does he see over the line? That's just knowledge and understanding and maneuvering his body to find the throwing lanes. Nobody's better in the business than Drew Brees at doing that.
They hand it off to Ted Ginn Jr., and that did not fool Tampa Bay. Beautifully defended by both Keith Tandy and Brent Grimes.
Brent Grimes does a good job of holding his position, understanding leverage, understanding where the ball needs to go. Then Tandy does a nice job of making an open field tackle on a speedy Ted Ginn, but that's because Grimes did his job of forcing that ball back into the pursuit of the defense.
Remember, this drive started inside their own 10. This is the 11th play on it. Brees dumps it off to Kamara, and he's inside the 10, 1st and goal, New Orleans at the 8-yard line.
It's just matchups, right? You're working out with Kamara off Quan Alexander. He's in the zone. Quan makes the mistake of looking back at Brees. Once Quan looks back at Brees, it's over because Kamara just runs a little option route off of him, and it's done. If you have that type of protection and you have a linebacker looking back at the quarterback as opposed to keeping your eyes on your man, that takes precedent over everything. He'll pull away every single time.
And Alvin Kamara has just gone into the NFL record books. He has more receiving yards as a rookie running back than any player in the history of the league. And now he's carrying the ball inside the 5 down to the 2. That record was previously held by Terry Kirby. I beg your pardon, he's still just short. He needed 73 coming into the game, and we're going to double check that. And it is a touchdown to Zach Line, his first receiving touchdown of the year. And the Saints march down the field, and with 7:07 to go, they have recaptured the lead.
And they went after Kendall Beckwith and Zach Line because he's lined up outside the offensive tackle. That tells you release. They're trying to pick. Watch Beckwith jumps inside here, and Zach Line just beats him in a foot race to the corner of the end zone. And Drew Brees with a half little roll, giving himself a clear path to throw the football. An easy pitch and catch for the Saints.
So Line His first overall touchdown of the year. Didn't have one rushing or receiving, and a point after is good. They're button heads in the NFC South. Oh my gosh, even in the booth, for crying out loud. You look at the Saints turnaround, and so much of it has to do with their decisions in free agency, but also with the draft. Kamara, Lattimore, both of them are going to the Pro Bowl. They have the safety who's been there all year long in Marcus Williams. He has a couple of interceptions today. Their right tackle, Ramczyk, he was the one that ultimately came over when they traded away Brandon Cooks to New England.
Yeah, and you trade away a good player like Brandon Cooks, and you make that trade every day if you can get a 10-year starting offensive tackle, and that's what they have in Ryan Ramczyk.
For more on that, here's Peter Schrager.
Yeah, guys, I spoke with a couple GMs around the league about this rookie class, and they're talking about it as it's historic, maybe the best one ever. Look, the Ravens had Jonathan Ogden and Ray Lewis in a draft class. These Buccaneers had Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks, and the Saints once had Reggie Bush and Roman Harper and Marcus Colston. But you look at those four guys and the impacts that they're making, you guys nailed it. Lattimore, Ramczyk, Marcus Williams, Alvin Kamara, and they like what they got from Anzalone and Trey Hendrickson too. So this could be the greatest draft class the Saints have ever had, and maybe one of the better draft classes the league has seen.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out moving forward. 7:07 to go. It has been one tight game after one tight game after one tight game for the Buccaneers, and all of them have been losses. And now airing it out, and incomplete with an eye on Godwin. Great coverage down there by Crawley.
Now, this is why the Saints can play good defense. They're allowed to bring pressures because they trust not only Marshawn Lattimore, but Crawley also does a good job in man-to-man coverage and probably got away with a little bit. But we've seen all day that these officials on the back end are letting them fight a little bit as far as hands go. But also two defensive linemen the Saints drafted that are going to be good players for them. Trey Hendrickson, who was a contributor, and of course Al-Quadin Muhammad, who was activated today. Good pass rusher, young kid out of Miami. Turnover change. Honorable Solo D. Turnover change.
Not much of that last night. Beautiful balance displayed there by Humphries, and he stays on his feet to get a first down. There wasn't a lot of that turnover chain going on last night.
No, and
they ran into the Badgers.
You're not going to get a turnover if you're a defensive back and you don't wrap your arms. I don't understand. P.J. Williams has a chance to get Adam Humphries down on the ground. All he has to do is wrap him up. Instead, he goes for the often failed shoulder tackle, which I see so many guys do. Wrap him up. It's okay. You can do that.
Ready.
First down for the Buccaneers. Been a good game for Humphries. He's a solid player. And the quick slant and the reception made by Evans. Boy, what coverage that was by Lattimore. The throw and the catch. Winston to Evans.
Evans uses his big body right here and we're going to work across the field, boxing out Marshawn Lattimore. But the good thing is Lattimore is in such tight coverage, Tom, that he eliminates any react yards because he makes the tackle as soon as the ball is caught by Mike Evans.
And remember, right now were it not for a missed point after by Patrick Murray, all the Buccaneers would need is a field goal to tie the game. But now they need a touchdown to leapfrog the Saints. Pretty nifty running there by Peyton Barber.
This is tough duty right here. Manti Te'o has a chance to get him in the hole, and as a linebacker, I kind of had a rule never to stop my feet, especially against shifty guys, because if you stop your feet, you'll get put on his highlight film. You take your shot and try to run through the guy. If you break down on a shifty guy, a lot of times they'll make you miss. Manti usually would make that tackle in one-on-one situation.
Fake it to Barber. This play hadn't worked all day, where they faked that. And they miss an open Cameron Brate. They tried that play about 4 or 5 times, and for whatever reason, it has just simply not worked. Let's send it back to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Let's get you an update here on the AFC. So the Bills need a win and a Ravens loss to make the playoffs for the first time since 1999. Tyrod Taylor hands it off to a defensive tackle, Kyle Williams, for the score. They lead that one 22-3. Meanwhile, Ravens, they're down 24-10 in the third. On fourth down, Alex Collins goes left. Reverse field takes it 17 yards for the touchdown. So the Bengals leading this one 24-17. Tom?
Well, it looked like Drake Kirkpatrick was screaming at the official that he got tackled by a Raven blocker there on that highlight. Movement along that line of scrimmage.
Cameron Jordan came off. He was pointing. Here's Cam Jordan right here at the top.
Carl Paganelli, the umpire, getting in the middle of that discussion as well.
Offside, number 94, defense unabated to the quarterback. 5 yards, second down.
Cameron Jordan is hot.
I believe he was pointing inside at the offensive guard. Perhaps Evan Smith felt like he may have jumped a little bit, but it wasn't called. Big difference between 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 10. It opens up the playbook a little bit more.
Buccaneers with 4:58 to go on the move. And a catch is made by Godwin. He shakes a tackle, breaking free of Crowley, and he's all the way inside the 20. And they'll spot, I beg your pardon, they'll spot him in the 24, first down.
One of the reasons why Dirk Cutter keeps his job, because this is the type of effort that the players are giving him, and Godwin has really come on toward the last half of the season once he's gotten his opportunities. Good ball security right there, running through Crawley.
Ready. Blue ready. Noise up.
First down to the 24. And Godwin fell down. Got tangled up with Crawley. And you wonder what the chance of that play is of working anyway. I mean,
it works.
It doesn't work, and it's been proven many, many times. Statistically, that jump ball play, it's almost to the point where you wonder why anybody runs it.
Because it
doesn't work.
All right, it's a one-on-one matchup, and you gotta like your matchup. If you feel like your guy's gonna go win the 50-50, throw it. Here's a little matchup right here.
Winston. Now, if that's a better throw, that's a better call and a better play. That should have been first down to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, that's a miss by Jameis. But the good protection. Jameis has time to step up into the pocket. This is called a skinny post by Godwin. He's going to run a nice little in cut. Probably gets on his backside. Safety a little late over the top. Just out throws Godwin just a little bit. He's been hampered by an ankle injury as he's limping off.
It's a very, very important third down. They're 12 out of 15 on third down in the game. But they've had 3 interceptions thrown by Winston. He had another open receiver. Brate's looking for a penalty flag on Marcus Williams, and the flag never comes, so out comes the field goal unit.
Yeah, Marcus Williams, Craig Robertson, everybody doing a good job as Von Bell is going to come off the edge right here. Donovan Smith does a good job of picking him up. Outstanding coverage by Raphael Bush.
It's where a lot of the times, and you get wrapped up so much in stats. So many people get wrapped up in stats and passing yards and fantasy. As here's a field goal try from 42 yards to make it a one-point game. You got to get the ball in the end zone.
Results oriented.
Well, Drew Brees certainly is not thinking about this. He may think of it at the end of the year if he's hosting the Super Bowl trophy. As of right now, you got to wonder how much they're going to pass. They will be aggressive. Look out for the onside kick here. You have 4:31 to go, and the Saints playing it safe. Plenty of time in this game. Being only a one-point game to start thinking about that quite yet, one would think. All of this comes back to a missed extra point by Patrick Murray. The first one he's missed all year. And that was after Tampa Bay had scored. It looked like they tied the game at 14.
Every point obviously counts. We knew this was going to be a good game. We got our schedule last week late. And when I saw that we had the Saints in Tampa Bay, we knew that Tampa Bay was going to come here and not shut her down. They were going to play. You know, we talk about Drew Brees and that 72% season completion rate. You know, one of the most impressive things, we talk about guys being clutch, right? During the fourth quarter, he completes 78% of his passes in the fourth quarter. That's money, man.
No,
that's a money quarter.
There's no doubt. And a lot of times, that's adding up to points.
Yeah.
Because they are among the best second-half teams in the NFL. And they come right out. Like we said, they're not going to go conservative, but Ryan Smith lays a huge hit on Ted Ginn Jr.
And this ball took a little bit of time to get there. Plus, it's inside away from Ted Ginn Jr., and it's late. Watch Ted have to turn around and try to adjust and come back to the ball when it's thrown to the inside. That allows Ryan Smith to close and do a good job of getting his hands in there to break it up. The ball was a little late and inside. A rare miss by Drew Brees standards.
So second down and 10. And play took virtually no time at all. And now the quick hit to Thomas. And he needed to get to the 35 for a first down. Let's see where they spot it.
About a yard short.
Very, very tough guy is Quan Alexander. Been playing with an injured hamstring since very early in the year. And he is down on the field. And Michael Thomas, I misspoke when I said earlier about Mark Inger, about Kamara. He now has the second most receiving yards by a rookie in an NFL season. But for Michael Thomas, he has more receptions in his first 2 seasons in the NFL than any player in the history of the league. 195 receptions in the first 2 years of the one-time Ohio State Buckeye.
You know, you look at it, that great wide receivers, obviously an overstatement, but they're the product of what type of quarterback you have. You have a future Hall of Fame quarterback thrown to, and you work as hard as Michael Thomas and have the hands that Michael Thomas has, you're going to put up big numbers.
Let's quickly go to Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Tom. Update here in Seattle. Seahawks down 6 in the fourth quarter. Russell Wilson doing what he does best. Fourth quarter to Doug Baldwin right there. 29-yard touchdown pass. Seahawks leading this one 24-23. Still needing an Atlanta loss if that score holds. Tom?
Right now, Atlanta is winning. And the Falcons just got the football back. 5:27 to go in Atlanta. Falcons lead by 9. So that's a 2-score game for Carolina with 5.5 to go. Third down in less than a yard and a first down run by Ingram.
Rarely does he fall sideways. Rarely does he fall backwards. One thing Mark Ingram does is get you the tough, grind him out yards when you need them.
And look who's right back in there. Quan Alexander.
Yep. Good for Quan. Glad, like I said, I'm glad there's no serious injuries, and all these guys that have been nicked up and on the field have been able to come back in.
Every first down becomes so important now. How about that play? Beautifully done by William Golston. Standing up Ingram. Let's go to Carissa once more.
Thanks, Tom. We go to Tennessee. So the Jags down 15-3. Tennessee fumbles the snap, and Yannick Ngakoue recovers for a 67-yard touchdown. Defensive player happy about that one. Titans still lead 15-10, and of course, Titans win, and they're in. Tom?
We talk so much about the NFC naturally, but over in the AFC, I mean, there are a lot of moving parts there. You heard Carissa say earlier, if Buffalo wins and Baltimore loses, the Bills are in the playoffs. Baltimore trailing Cincinnati 24-20, but they're only 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. The Chargers need all kinds of help. The Chargers are blasting the Raiders. Well, what an awful year it's been for the Raiders. Chargers leading 30-10. The Rams are getting hammered by the 49ers, and it looks like they have their quarterback.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And it's, you know, if they beat the Rams, I count that as half a win when you're choosing to sit down Goff and Gurley. I mean, it's a win. I get it, but they shut her down.
And now Breeze down the field, and wide open is Ted Ginn Jr. And that's to the 41 and another New Orleans first down.
Because of speed, watch Ryan Smith get out of his back pedal and start turning his shoulders and sprinting because of the concern that he has. Gibbs going to run deep. It just runs a little break-off route right there. Drew Brees with perfect timing. But that was all set up because Ted Ginn, at his age, still puts fear in corners because of the speed that he brings on the deep route.
All right, so we have let's put all this into perspective now for the Saints. They want to get that number 3 seed. They need the 49ers to win that game, and the 49ers are going to win that game. So they needed Minnesota to win. They needed to win, and they needed Carolina to win. And it didn't matter who won, Seattle or Arizona. But Carolina is not going, or at least they're in big trouble. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, down 19-10.
Yeah, now they could get Atlanta a win, but then you'd have to have Arizona and Seattle tie. And right now, that's a 1-point game with 9:34 to go. You know, by most of the playoff scenarios going into the day, the most likely, even though it's slight albeit, would be as a 4 seed or a 5 seed for the New Orleans Saints. And it means they're going to get a home game in the first round. And then depending on how that first round goes, you know, more than likely you're on the road for game 2, and we'll see game 3 if you get that far.
Yeah, and I think it's important for Sean Payton and the Saints to get a home game, especially for their defensive side of the football. Why? Because that home field advantage in New Orleans is really, really strong. And you got a lot of new guys playing. I mean, they're bringing guys, they're signing guys off the street right now. We have George Johnson, who's up in Detroit. He's had 2.5 sacks the past 2 weeks. You got new guys in there. The more noise you can add to that, the better. Tony McDaniel was signed this week wearing number 76, has made a couple plays today. Playing defensive tackle.
Kamara is run out of bounds, which will bring up a 3rd down and long with 2:54 to go.
What a job by Grimes. Quan Alexander runs him down, but the play is made by Grimes. You know, you're 185 pounds, and you're taking on a big man and Andrews Pete. Watch this. Watch Grimes get to the outside, force that ball to cut up inside where Quan Alexander does what he does best. Really strong on running and playing outside of the tackles. That's where he can run people down. But that's what makes Brent Grimes not only his cover skills, but his knowledge of where the ball's going. Big 3rd down for the Saints.
And the Saints are going to call a timeout. 17 or more points, 19 in a row. That's the longest active streak in the NFL for the Saints. It's been 3 takeaways, 3 Jameis Winston interceptions, leading to 10 points, and right now the difference being a missed point after touchdown by Patrick Murray of Tampa Bay.
And the special teams touchdown by the Saints, and of course Josh Robinson stripping the ball out, Johnson scooping and scoring, keeping this game close and tight. Now, if I'm the Buccaneers, I got to say, okay, Mike Evans is a guy, Michael Thomas is a guy I got to take out. Alvin Kamara is a guy that I have to watch. He's hurt me on 3rd downs. They get him in space and matched up with the linebacker. Drew Brees likes to attack that. What you can do now is vice coverage, and you can put a safety and a linebacker on Kamara. Once he declares, one player will take him. The other now can become a hole player and drop off into the middle of the field for any in routes.
Here we go, 4-man rush. And for the first time all day, they get heavy pressure on Brees, and he just doesn't. No, they're saying he's sacked. They're going to say he was in control by the defender, and that will send them all the way back to the 48-yard line.
Now, Clint McDonald is going to start out with a push, and he's going to work his way around. Good push inside by Gerald McCoy right here on the power rush. Actually picking off 3 or 4 offensive linemen for the Saints, allowing a clear path for Clint McDonald to get the sack. His 5th on the year.
Well, they can let it run down to about 2:08. And if they take a 5-yard penalty, they don't care. They don't have to call a timeout to delay a game penalty. So, you know, they want to give their punter Morstead the best chance of pinning them deep, them being Tampa Bay, with 2:07 to go. And I want to thank real quick, Chris. You were such an incredible help. You and Scott Snyder yesterday involved in a traffic accident. I was, and the Florida State troopers were just unbelievable. I want to thank Nelson Lewis of the Buccaneers and all their help here at the stadium, and over at the University of Michigan, Chad Shepard and all their medical staff for checking everything out yesterday afternoon. So thanks to all. This will be down inside the 5. Justin Hardy getting down the field and beautifully done by Morstead. All right, here we go. Jameis Winston. Can he deliver the goods with 2 minutes to go? All right, they're hoping the Buccaneers are to give Patrick Murray a chance. His career long is 55 yards. So you see the yellow line there. They roughly need to get to about the 37 to give him a chance for a 55-yard try. You'd like to do better than that.
This is Jameis Winston right now. This is the start of next year. This is to put that reputation of turning the ball over. This is a chance to lead your team. It's turn a new leaf. Be the new Jameis Winston. Don't wait till next year. It starts right here, right now. 1:58 to go. What are you going to do?
Drive begins inside the 5-yard line. And Winston, good protection. And should have been intercepted by Robertson, who has one already today.
They just had a great break on the football. Cam George demanded 3 Buccaneers to block him, which allows time for Jameis Winston. Robertson's playing from deep to short. Reads the eyes of Jameis Winston, and watch Cam Jordan right here. He's going to get 3 Buccaneers to take care of him. You want to protect Jameis's backside.
Well, I tell you, who's been a non-factor in this game today is Mike Evans. 2 catches for 21 yards. And Winston was hit as he threw that ball.
George Johnson, again, played 4 games with the Lions this year, 2.5 sacks the last 2 games, is working on the backup, Wester, who's in for Caleb Benenoch. Let's see the move that he hits him with. This beats him with a little shoulder turn and an uppercut rip, getting that short corner, hitting Jameis to affect the trajectory of the football.
That's got to make Buccaneers fans crazy because they originally signed Johnson as a free agent all the way back in 2010. All right, 3rd down. And a blitz coming. Winston gets it away and broken up by Robertson trying to get to Evans. And that'll be a 3 and out for the Buccaneers, and they're going to go for it.
Yeah, Robertson's been, I think, one of the unheralded heroes of this defense, playing routes and not covering dirt. His eyes are going right to Mike Evans and is there to cut him off. Gets in front of him, and that's not interference. That's a great job of coverage by Mike Evans. He keeps his left hand off of him and gets his body in between the man and the ball, just like playing basketball and defense.
All righty, well, this is it.
You're going to chip Cam Jordan right here, so he's a non-factor in the pout.
Winston, first down reception by Braid up to the 17-yard line. Clock continuing to run, and the Buccaneers are out of timeouts.
Good route by Braid to get to the sticks.
So they convert on 4th and 10. And now Winston going to work, throws high, but the catch is made on the far side by Evans. And the clock will continue to run, 1:15 to go. They're taking a lot of time here. Great protection and incomplete. So 3rd down and a yard.
See Evans working on Crawley right here. Crawley, see the difference? He stays in his back pedal and he stays square, as opposed to Ryan Smith for the Buccaneers, where Ted Ginn made him turn his shoulders. Crawley stays square, so he's in better position to break on the football.
Brown chanting that Crawley had made contact with Evans before the ball arrived. 3rd down and a yard. And a catch made up to the 35-yard line by Evans. And the clock will roll again. Tampa Bay out of timeouts, and we're under a minute. Down to 48 to go. Winston fires. Beautiful throw. My, oh my, to Evans.
That's a dart. That's a dart.
Welcome those who have been watching the Rams and the 49ers today. We're in the final seconds of this one. The Saints need a win to nail down the NFC South. The Buccaneers are trailing by a point. Tampa Bay out of timeouts and has the football at the Saints' 49-yard line.
And Mike Evans did a great job off the line of scrimmage, pushing Marshawn Lattimore, won the contact battle, created space, and was able to find the open area where Jameis Winston threw a dart. Playing man.
First down. And incomplete. Eye on Humphries here and P.J. Williams in coverage.
Now Humphries is actually open right here. P.J. Williams gives up the inside. Got away with a little grab himself. Good job of P.J. of getting in there, knocking it away.
Murray's career long is 55. To give him a shot from around that territory, they need to get to about the 37. But they have plenty of time to do better than that. 32 seconds remain. Second down and 10. All day to throw. And then dumps it off, and that is a first down to the 39 to Humphries. They may have to get it up and spike it quickly to the ground, which it looks like they're going to do. And now a timeout by New Orleans. Our game produced by Mark Titleman and directed by Greg Scopatone. Our associate director is Alex Olson. And our broadcast associate is Jason Hurd. This is the missed extra point. All the way back in the first half by Patrick Murray. His first miss of the year. Technical producer of today's game, Michael Nathanson. Our technical director, Dane Crawford. And our crew members from the Sunshine State. Tom Barbary from Orlando. Jesper Baroni from South Florida, and our first and 10 yellow line operator, Joe Marinas. And all of those who have been with us all year long. It's been a really, really fun and enjoyable year and a great way to finish it here.
Yeah, our crew's done a great job. Jameis Winston's taking advantage of this opportunity, putting those 3 interceptions behind him. If you're a Buccaneer fan, you want him to get Patrick Murray a shot to win the ball game. You got to play man. You can't give him the easy one. They'll attack the outside of the field.
Great protection again. And the sideline, it is a touchdown for Tampa Bay to Chris Godwin. And they're going to go for 2 undoubtedly. In a minute 49 seconds.
Crawley's decent coverage. Godwin is just running his takeoff right there. You see Crawley look back for the ball. When he looked back for the ball, Godwin was just able to pull ahead. And Jameis throws a perfect ball to Godwin, who's getting his shot to play because Deshaun Jackson's not playing, and he's taking the most of his opportunities.
Godwin, his first 100-yard receiving game. 7 catches, 111 yards. And Sean Payton shaking his head. And now the 2-point conversion try and make it what would be a 7-point lead. Saints only have 1 timeout left, and we're down to the last 9 seconds of the game.
Ready. Blue ready. Boys up.
And it is a catch, or is it? It is by Evans. What a drive that was.
That's what we talked about. Jameis had a chance to start next year with this drive. What's he going to do? Is he going to lead his team to victory? Calm, poised, on target, not afraid to throw the tough ball. Threw a perfect ball to Godwin for 6 and goes to his trusted target, Mike Evans, in the jump ball situation, working one-on-one against the talented rookie, Marshawn Lattimore.
Well, the way it stands right now, Chris, and I know there's so many different equations going on, but it looks like Atlanta's going to win their game. They're ahead by 12 with 20 seconds left. Should New Orleans now lose this game, The Rams would become the number 3 seed and would host Atlanta next weekend in the opening round of the playoffs. New Orleans would be the number 4 seed and would play for the 3rd time this year the Carolina Panthers. And that game, of course, would be in New Orleans. And the Saints have beaten the Panthers twice this year.
Well, I tell you, I mean, it's really, really difficult to beat a team 3 times in one year, especially a talented team like the Panthers. They'll be ready, though. Sean will have them ready.
All right, here's Kamara now. He needs to get down on the ground to give his team a chance for maybe one more play, but there's pitching it around. This is going to end the game. Or are they saying he was down?
He's down. 1 second.
He's down.
You know, we talk about Jameis Winston. Start next year with this drive. Erase all the turnovers. How are you going to respond? How are you going to set the tempo? And man, was he clutch in that situation. Big 3rd down conversion.
4th down conversion.
Yeah, hit Godwin on a beautifully thrown ball. Godwin is rookie wide receiver from Penn State, and coming back throwing a perfect pass to Mike Evans for the 2-pointer. That's the Jameis Winston everybody wants to see in Central Florida. That's the guy that can be great. If he can eliminate the emotions, not take away passion, eliminate emotions, cut down on the turnovers, he could be as good as he wants to be, like we stated earlier in the broadcast.
And he knows his head coach is coming back. That was decided just in the last 48 hours.
Great relationship that he has with Dirk Cutter.
And they will just concede this, or will they? They're going to give it to Thomas. He'll step out of bounds, and that's the game. But in less than 8 seconds from now, we're going to send you to Atlanta. The Saints are still going to be the NFC South champions. They lose today 31-24. Those guys are having a little fun. That's good stuff. For Chris Peelman, Peter Schrager, Tom Brenneman, Happy New Year, everybody. We send it to Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Aaron Andrews in Atlanta.